Okay, as I'm going along with this combustible paper cartridge thing, which uh, now I'm wondering, is it all worth it? But we're going to go make a cartridge with this Mesa Winds tool, the block and the mandrel. So far, and what I'm going to do is I already rolled a cartridge, and we're going to load one for the walker. I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm also going to cover an individual sent me about 5 comments about using wax paper for the combustible paper cartridge. And he claims it's more durable, it burns cleaner, you don't have to nitrate it, it won't let sweat, blood, saliva, fecal matter, or transmit COVID using wax paper other than nitrated coffee filters or cigarette paper. Alright, so we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Alright, now let's go back to Mesa Winds. I got these forms. Now what I did is I took the form for 44 ball, not conical ball, it's bigger. I cut a piece of nitrated coffee filter using this form, and it come out quite right. And again, with a 5 or 3/4 inch hole punch, I made the base cup out of nitrated coffee filter, and it works good. So if you want to go with the walker, get that 44 ball block, and you're all set. Okay, now, first problem with Mesa Winds is all these guys that, 3D printers make this stuff. When you do the 3D printer, it leaves a burr on the edges. It leaves a lip on there, which he did not remove them on any of these blocks. So you're going to have to go and shave off the lip and get this to work right, sand it or something, which to me, I've had some other people do some 3D printing and I tell them, look, you got to deburr the damn parts. Okay, being a machinist for 40 years, the job is incomplete unless the finished product is deburred. Okay, so 1 tick there. Alright, so I'm not going to go through the wrapping or anything, but also I'm going to discuss the difference. I have the walker set up with Guns of the West. I'm going to show you there is a difference. So this is something key you have to pay attention to before you buy anybody's system, is figure out what type of paper the guy is rolling on these mandrels, because I believe it does make a difference. Okay, I believe when you look at Mesa Winds' video, it's another one he doesn't speak. I believe he's using nitrated coffee filters, and all in all, his mandrel and his die are extremely precision and machined. So out of all of these little die mandrel sets, this one is probably, the highest quality you can get. All right, and it's also the most expensive. Now, if you look, when we made this with the cutout, this lines up right to the groove. There was no cutting involved. I didn't have to trim the end or nothing. It fit right on there. If we take Guns of the West and try to slip this thing on his mandrel, as you see, it comes up short. So what that's telling me is that the shape and size of these are different. Now, supposedly it's for the same charge and that, but the reason it's different, he uses a different material when he wraps his paper cartridge. So make sure, and if you watch Guns of the West video, he shows you how he uses this with paper cartridges. Now, let's go on to trying out the Mesa Winds thing here. Now, as you see, also it kind of sticks up pretty high in the block. All right. So I got my charge, and he does not supply you with any type of funnel or anything, so I'm going to use Guns of the West funnel. And it's a 39 grain charge of 3F. And let's see if it fits in there. Now, that just about fills up the cartridge, almost flush. Which that's not going to help us seating this, because there's no room in there for the bullet to be seated. So I'm going to have to dump some of this out. That gives me a little bit more room. You know, again, it'd be something I have to calculate and get in there. So I'm going to take the Air's Gone Dragoon bullet. Glue it, and these things work. They all work the same way. You get the cartridge in there and you kind of shove it down to crimp it. So we got our Air's Gone bullet. Son of a bitch. Glue on the end. Place it in there. Whatever I removed, I don't know. Then shove this down into the die. Well, whatever he uses, this didn't kind of work out well. It doesn't go down, so it has to use a thinner paper. Okay? So, again, trial and error. Now, let's go to our next problem here. The wax paper. Alright, trying to use the wax paper with the Mesa Winds did not come out too well. So I used the old West bullet mold, kind of got it in there where it's somewhat flush. And I guess now what I will do is see if I can transfer this powder over from the one cartridge to the other. And fill this up somewhat. Alright, give me a minute here. Alright, so we filled this up, the wax paper, giving it some room for the heel to attach. Put some glue on the bullet. Get it seated on there. Get it to squinch down, and yep, it goes in and somewhat crimps it, sticking out in the back. So that somewhat went well. But the bullet does not wish to stay glued to the paper case. So we'll push it up, coax it out of there. And it's there we go, our wax paper bullet. Really kind of don't know if that, you know, you can do it. Don't know if I really want to. Now the Mesa Winds, I would have to see. Now when I tried it with the wax bullet, I mean this thing, it formed a nice cartridge, but it didn't want to do the shove down in there. So I don't know. Have to be a little more work. I mean, this thing fits in there more than enough room. It should have worked. Why it didn't, I don't know. But it did form a nice case. Okay, maybe I need a little more practice with it. But I think what I will do now is kind of do an overall review. I know I didn't test that one fella that makes them with the dippers and that, but they're all the same. These people are using 3D printing to make a lot of these things, other than the Mesa Winds, which he machines these out. He put a little bit more engineering and some thought into this. I wish I could have made a bullet. Now the wax paper bullet, which is kind of a strange idea, but as you see, it is possible to do. The wax paper doesn't like to glue real good. I don't know, maybe I'll see if I can make another one of these for end of video or not. Okay, I want to be fair with this. So again, like I said, using his template, you see it kind of rolls around there, and this one does something about the knurl or larger handle. Not any longer or anything, but I can use this fairly well. With my disability, it is all difficult. Get some glue on the paper here. Alright. Get down on there. And using our 3/4 hole punch, I punch out a little base. And set that in there. Now, one thing I found when I shove this down in there, it does still protrude somewhat. Push it in any further would just crush the cartridge. So now I'm going to go and fill this up with powder, and I'm going to just guesstimate looking at this until I can get my, bullet, there's enough of space in there to get my heel in there, and then give it a shove down. So let me get the powder in there. Okay, so what I've done is I filled up the cavity, leaving enough room for the heel to be glued on there. What the charge is, I don't know. I just did it by eye, but I know it's less than my standard charge of 39 grains. Now I'm going to get some glue on the heel, seat it on there, and see if this thing will go down in. Kind of doesn't want to. So again, much like the other ones, I kind of don't like this. See, he must have used a different paper or something. There we go. Squeeze that down there to where it protrudes a little bit. See if I can give it a push out. There it goes. Okay. All right. There you go. Paper cartridge with the Mesa Winds using the nitrated coffee filter. Makes a decent cartridge. It's firm, well uniform, but not to my charge. I'm not quite sure what the charge is. So yeah, you know, again, something you'll have to tweak, refine, and get to where, you know, you can set this up to where it satisfies what you need to make. But yeah, you can make one with it. You know, quality's there, heavy duty, solid. May need a little break-in period or waxing or something. I might have screwed up by not waxing it. But yeah, so that's my review of that product. As for the wax paper bullets, I don't know. As you see, it can be done. I don't know if it'll hold up. Maybe I will get into testing and try to run a number of these and see how they all work. Both the wax paper and the different ones made from the different companies here. Alright, so that's my afternoon kind of somewhat review and what I'm fooling around with. So I did try the wax paper. Just had to kind of dovetail that one in there. Alright guys, stay tuned.